We're going to talk about endings. Yeah, we all have endings in our life. Now, I'm not talking about death here. That's not what I'm referring to. But I think it's really crucial for you to walk away with a wonderful piece of wisdom that I can give you today. This is going to be wisdom, and some of you might find it very difficult to understand. Some of you might find it easy, but every ending can be a beginning. I want you to know that today. I want you to walk away with the confidence of every ending in your life can actually be a beginning. But that's not the full story. It's not the full story. And I'm Mario Leone. Welcome to the Voices of Victory channel. Don't forget to click the link below in the Podbean description. So this way you can visit the Patreon and we can actually grow together. So let's go over it. Nature really doesn't do dead ends. I think it's so important for us to know this. And it's also important for us to know that you are a part of nature. If you are living and breathing and we're in this ecosystem together, then you yourself are part of nature. And nature doesn't do dead ends. But what it does do, which is the most interesting thing, is it does cycles. Look at winter, then spring, then summer, then autumn, and then winter again. The trees let go of their leaves and new ones grow. This is part of the very cycle that happens. And day ends, and of course, night actually begins. And you are built the same way. We go to work today, we go to work tomorrow. That's the cycle we're actually in. And here is the human truth behind it. Something has to end in order for something else to start. And we get caught up in the idea that the people that we love will be there forever. Literally, we think that they will be there forever. And your ego actually hates that. Absolutely hates that because it tries to hang on and cling on to what is permanent, or it tries to make things permanent. So when we get depressed and we get unhappy, we take a bad situation and we make it permanent in our head. Then it becomes part of our schema in our mind. And schema is that mental recipe of how you actually look at life. So something has to end so something else could start. Tell yourself that every day, because in all honesty, when it gets sprung on us, we're going to be like, oh, I thought that relationship is going to last forever. I remember working in the technology circles, and I worked with the most incredible team. I worked with an incredible team of people. I called them Voltron because each one of us was like one of the Voltron lions. And when we came together, we were a force to be reckoned with. We were really strong. And I really felt in the back of my head, I had this permanence that we were going to be together for years to come. And you know what happened? Life changes. Cycles come and go. Your cycle doesn't jive with the cycle of somebody else. You know, what's going on in your life doesn't jive with the cycle of somebody else. One person decided to leave and transfer to another location, and then eventually to leave the company. So here's the deal. Something has got to end before something else can start, and your ego hates that. Your mind will zoom in and focus on what's gone. It is ignoring what is opening unless you keep your heart and your mind open. That is the human truth. And we forget that. Relationships, they end. The ending is there. The relationship goes to hell in a handbasket. It falls apart. You lose the person. You lose the routines you had with them. You're connected to them on their bills. And the future that you actually pictured is no longer. Not realizing that you're supposed to be focusing on the next chapter of your life. You get to decide and write in your book. The book called Life means that each day is a page in your book, and you yourself get to write in that page. Every single day is one page, and it's up to you how you want to write in it every single day. And the future can be pictured and changed at any point in time. That being said, the ego has a massive reaction. I lost everything. It's over. It's done. I'm done for. I'm finished. And it replays the memories. It replays the old mental references. It replays the beliefs, the narratives, the stories that it tells yourself. And it holds on to what is actually gone. That's what it does. That's what your brain actually does. And the ego loves that. It likes to connect that right to the identity and make it part of everything. And you want it to be permanent. And that team that I was with, we all divided at some point. one person left over here, one person changed over there. Everybody's life just changed. But you know what? It was fun while it lasted, and it was exciting. And I got to make friends for a lifetime. And if there are true friendships, they will surpass the walls of the building that you're in. So the beginning is what you actually miss. You miss the new beginnings, the new life. That's when some more room in your life starts to open up. You can start to see clearly that there's more opportunities and options in front of you. You can actually rebuild your life more efficiently. And you can actually meet someone else who actually fits and connects with you. And it doesn't have to be right away because we go through cycles. You go, even in relationships, there are cycles. The cycle of, connecting, courting, deepening, and then finally the relationship breaks up, right? Relationships have a cycle. And when that cycle ends, another one will start. It may be with the same person or it may be with someone else. But here's the deal. You get to actually meet someone who actually fits. That being said, even job loss, the ending, you lose your job. Suddenly you're making less income. Your identity and who you are or who you believe you are starts to take a massive smack to the face. And the ego is really bruised at the end of the day. And it's upsetting when you got to take a cardboard box, take all your office belongings, fill them up, and actually walk out. And it hurts on the inside. And sometimes, again, if there's a relationship or a friendship with people, it'll surpass the walls that is contained inside. So the ego has a reaction. It has a nasty reaction. I'm screwed. I'm falling behind. I'm done for. I'm over. I can't do anything. I'm not smart enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not intelligent enough, right? And this comes down to locus of control, internal locus of control or external. Internal locus of control says, all right, I'm going to change this. I'm tired of it. I'm going to do something about it. External locus of control basically hands their decisions off to the rest of the world. And here's the deal. When you say, I'm screwed, I'm falling behind, that is your brain, that is your ego locking on to your very fears. And it'll just replay that over and over again. The beginning is what you miss, and now you're actually free. You're free to pivot, you're free to change, you're free to have a career change, you're free to have a relationship change. You're free to work on yourself without a relationship so you can build yourself up and then move past it. Maybe even take some time to heal, because even healing is part of that cycle. And that's important. You're free to build something on your own. You're free to stop wasting time in the wrong lane with the wrong person, in the wrong job with the wrong people. Because guess what? At some point, you're going to have to make changes in your life. Aging is the big deal. Yeah, we all get older. We can understand that you're not who you were 10 years ago. Your life is indeed going to change. And the roles you actually play in your life are also going to change. Now, that doesn't mean we have to lie down and die. Like, okay, I'm 53, big deal. But I don't have to sit here and lie down and die. I like to exercise. I believe movement is the best way to get back to vitality. And movement is fantastic when we get into exercise, when we work on our body. Not everybody can do that because everybody's got a different set of physicality in the world. Everybody's got a different physical body. But if you have the ability to utilize movement and exercise, it can support you and it can give you that health back, that vitality back. We may not be able to stop the clock, but we sure as hell can slow it down as far as we possibly can go. The ego has that reaction. I'm losing my edge. I'm no longer who I am. I don't know who I am anymore. When we have a job and you're a carpenter, everything is a hammer and everything is a nail. And when you believe I'm just a carpenter and that's all that I'll ever be, that role is tied into your identity so hard that if you try to go in a different direction, you'll be fighting yourself. The war will be inside of you, and it'll be an inner civil war between trying to do something new or dealing with the old patterns that you have. Because the ego reaction is like, I'm losing my edge, or it's all downhill from here. Things are just going down. And that's the ego's reaction. But the beginning you miss is you're gaining a different concept of the depth of life, how deep life can really be, how it can connect to your heart and your mind. You also learn as to what you can control and what you can't, what you can control versus what you can actually influence. So you stop chasing after the shiny things with everybody else, and you start choosing a different life. You start choosing things. You change your mind in regards to certain values. That is part of your journey. So the pattern is really simple. It's every time something ends, two things happen. Loss, what you had is now gone. Period, full stop, end of story. And what's coming is now opening. It's opening up. It's what you need and what is arriving. But it's really up to you, because the lens or the mental recipe of how you see that is going to make a difference for your new experience. If you don't embrace it and have an open heart, you are going to be going back to that inner civil war inside your identity. So the ego only sees one. The ego will either see the loss or it'll see the opening. And that's the hard part here. So here's the deal. Every time something ends, two things happen. It's either the loss or the opening. But opening can be a choice when you actually have acceptance and embrace where you are. That acceptance is going to suck. It is going to be painful. It is going to be hard. It is going to make you cry. You are going to be unhappy. That is the reality truth. It is going to be hurtful. It may even be surprising. It may blindside you. It can happen. But we have to be able to shift and pivot. Now, keep in mind, there may be a point in healing. So let's talk about this. There's loss and opening. In between those two can be a point of healing. You could heal for a long time, but don't stay there too long, because life will move without you. Life doesn't need your permission. Time and the wheel of time does not need your permission. It will continue to move without you. Okay? Very important. Now, I'm going to end with a story at the end to explain this. So the very bottom of the barrel, strong truth to this whole thing is you are literally going to be in the loss mode or the new beginning mode, or in the middle, which is a point in healing. Now, my story really quickly starts with a very good friend of mine who's a doctor. And he's seen a lot of things. He's seen people die and he's seen things happen. And there was a woman who actually had fell, and the bedpost actually cracked, and the bedpost went through her leg. And they rushed her to the hospital, and they removed the bedpost successfully from her leg. Every day he kept walking by and he kept asking, hey, how's she doing? How's it going? How's she doing? Because he knew how bad it was. He had saw how bad it was. And every day he saw what was going on, what was happening. That, it was healing, it was getting better, and everything was okay. Things were working out, right? And what happened was a few days later went by, and he would walk by and he'd visit, and he would see if she was okay and everything was all right. So about 3 or 4 days he would check on her, and he saw that she was all right each and every time. Finally, one day he walked by the hallway. She wasn't there anymore. So he's like, oh, maybe she's gone. She probably, they discharge her and she's gone. And he asked one of the receptionists, like, hey, how's it going with, the woman with the bedpost that went through her leg? And like, oh, her? Oh, yeah. She died last night. And he came to me, this very good friend of mine, he came to me and we had a nice discussion about it. And I basically, he was so surprised and so distraught, even though he was a doctor, it still impacted him because he had made this connection to this cheerful woman who had this accident. And he said, he can manage his feelings really well, and he's really smart like that. He's emotionally intelligent, able to manage that. But he said to me, like, I'm really surprised because it's just like so quick. It's gone. She's gone. And I said, do me a favor. I said, look out your window. And he goes, why? I said, just trust me. Look out your window. So I go, do you see any trees or anything like that? He goes, yeah, I see a tree, and there's a creek that's not far away that's flowing. I said, that tree and that creek, they don't need your permission. They're not going to stop. Life is going to move without you. Life will always move without you. And when death comes and the ending comes, it will move without you. It doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need you to understand that either. It's going to continue to move. Life will continue to move. Things will occur without you getting involved in it. Nature will move at the rate and flow that it does, and it doesn't need your permission. But you are part of nature. That is a key point. So I let him know that it is sad. Feel your feelings. Feel them fully, all the way through. And feel that sadness. Process it all and let it go. but understand that life and death is going to move without you. Time, the wheel of time, is going to move without you. It doesn't need your permission. That's not to be sad. That's not to be morose. That's not to be depressed. That's not to be pissed off. That's to value what you have when you have it and savor it. Savor every moment of it. It's like eating your best meal and you eat it so slowly with the spoon to savor every tender taste and bit. That's what it's all about. To engage in life fully, all the way. Because it's not about just dying. Sometimes it's about living. And sometimes every ending is really the beginning. Have a great day. See you on the next episode. Don't forget to click the link below. Take care.